Bud shuffled into the visitor's room with the sheriff's deputy right behind him. He saw Maggie sitting at the same table as before and made his way towards her. The deputy stopped a few feet short, giving Bud some space to pull out the chair and get settled. Maggie greeted him with a forced smile. Again, the wooden ledge acted as a barrier between their tables. The two sat looking at each other, no words, as the din of the visitor's room clamored around them. Bud began. "I heard you resigned." She turned her head up to look at him. Bud looked deep into her eyes. "I'm so sorry you had to do that." Maggie shrugged and said nothing. "They were better off with you than without you." She shrugged again. "What are you going to do now?" Staring at the table, she said, barely above a whisper, "I have no idea." Bud looked away, searching for words. "You know, every job I've had," Maggie began, then stopped. She looked up at Bud and continued, "Every job I've had has been derailed, or almost derailed, by you. Your past, your present." Her voice had no edge, conveyed no judgment. "It's been a hell of a decade, you know. The killing, jail the first time, the former governor trying to fuck me over, now jail a second time." Bud saw exhaustion more than anything else in her face. "I have no career left." Bud's eyes filled with tears. His tears triggered hers. The two of them sat crying as quietly as they could. "I'll make it up to you somehow," Bud managed in a broken voice. "I know it's bad now, but I'll—" "Stop," she interrupted, sniffling. She wiped her eyes with her hands and tried to continue. "I have something to tell you." Bud wiped his own eyes with his hands. "It's about you and Marjorie, isn't it?" he offered in a weak voice. Maggie froze and had to catch her breath. "Yes." She looked at him with bloodshot eyes. "How do you know?" He sniffed and wiped his nose on his sleeve. "There were clues," he said. "I saw a text message, the constant phone calls, that conversation the other day when she answered your phone by mistake, sideways glances at women in various places. And I don't know, I never thought you were that into, sex." He paused to see her reaction, adding, "Not that I have any complaints." "But I can't believe all this time that I never said anything. It was only this last year that it came together. I figured you'd tell me if and when you were ready. The fact is," he paused to make sure he had her full attention, "I love you. And if that's what you need—" "Stop, Bud, okay? You're gonna make me cry again." "It's all true," she continued. "I've been living a lie for years, Bud, years. Back before I even met you. I just never acted on it. I wasn't sure, or I was scared of it. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you too, but not in the same way. That one hurt. She could see it. If not now, then when, Bud? When do I get to be a real adult? When do I get to be the person I should have been all this time? I'm 48 years old." She could see the air hiss out of his ego before her eyes. He looked resigned. He snapped out of it and nodded. "Now," he replied. "Now's the time." He reached over the wooden ledge, searching for her hand. She gave it, and they held on to each other for a few moments before the deputy cleared his throat. They withdrew. She leaned in again. "You don't hate me?" For the first time in days, Bud Remick smiled. "You're the most amazing woman I have ever known. How could I hate you?" Maggie lit up and offered her own tentative smile. "Better than Alexandra and Crystal?" Embarrassed, Bud replied, "You are the love of my life." Both smiles remained for a short while before the deputy reminded them time was up. "If you need the house to postpone, go ahead," she said. "Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's been a hoot, being back in jail and all, but—" Maggie's eyes widened in mock horror. "I need some real food." Her face relaxed, and she said, "When you get out, we'll talk some more." Bud blew Maggie a kiss. She pursed her lips to form an air kiss, watching as he walked out of the room with the deputy in tow.